quick little testimony that I experienced yesterday. And it's a good example of how in these end times we can and we will need to rely on the Lord to do things. The scripture, we can do all things through Christ. Well, often the Lord will show me that that's how I can get the impossible done. It's just a routine thing, and this is the other insight, that there's nothing too small or too unimportant that the Lord will not aid us who are His through. So in this case, I had an appointment to get my blood drawn. It was routine. I go twice a year, and I had made this appointment with the local laboratory. And the thing is I was very busy, super busy, so busy that I was managing 2 or 3 different things at the same time. And I had stayed up, and I said, I'm too tired. I don't want to go get my blood drawn. In fact, I went ahead and I made another appointment for next week because I just wanted to rest. But as it turns out, I lived a life that where I can make my plans, and then of course the Lord has me do exactly what He wants me to do, which is nothing at all that I expected. So I found myself getting caught up in other things, and that at the time I had made the second appointment, it was 7 in the morning, and the appointment that I had was at 1:40 in the afternoon. I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm tired, and I don't want to go. It's elective. I still have so many days where I can get the test done, and the results will be ready for my visit. So but I had gone ahead and made the appointment, but something had kept me from breaking this appointment that I still had. And so I've always learned that if I have a certain feeling not to do something, just follow that feeling, because that's generally the Lord working through me. So in that way, I'll be obedient. So I just let it be. And then I had gotten caught up in some really high-level emotion project. And when I just came to the end, I was all revved up, and I looked at the clock. I said, "Oh, it's 1:20." I said, "My appointment is 20 minutes away." I said, "You know something? The Lord, He has charged me up. Even though I'm not ready, I'm not dressed, I'm going to do this because I know He has worked it for me to do it." So I got dressed, and as I was going to leave the bedroom, I looked and I saw that it was 1:30, and my appointment was 1:40. If you get late, and the facility closed in half an hour, it's not like I could come in an hour before and be a few minutes late and they would see me. They were going to close, and on top of it, I was getting my biannual labs done. And I have seen sometimes when it gets close to the closing hour for this particular lab that I went to, they didn't want to do anything that would take any kind of time, and they might try to tell me to come back. And here I didn't want to make the effort for something I didn't want to go to in the first place, and then be told, you got to come back. So, but I knew that the Lord was going to get me there. It was 1:30. My appointment, I had to physically be there at 1:40. Now I have to tell you, it was just 2.7 miles away. However, I'm talking about Miami, Florida. It's a very sunny, beautiful day. It was in the 80s. At that time, the streets are packed. On top of it, I had 8 stop signs to go through, one of those yield islands to go through, 2 local traffic lights in the neighborhood to go through, 1 major traffic light at a big street that could take 5 to 10 minutes, and normally cars pile up 2 to 3 blocks to go, and when they get at the light from the direction I was coming from. Then I was going to a busy mall because the lab was in a mall, and I had to try to find a place to park and walk, and I had 10 minutes. My appointment was due. It was impossible. It was impossible. And that's exactly what the Lord does. So at that time, I know, just do it. Just do it. I know the Lord's going to have me, going to take me through it. I just knew it. I didn't know how. It was impossible. But my role, my part, is just to step out in faith. Step out in total faith. Because remember, he said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. And I have found in these situations, just do it. Just go. Do not think the impossible. So I left the house. I went to my car, which is not a straight walk. And so I started the drive. And I was finding that even though cars were coming, I would be timed just so I could get right in front of all the cars. And I had gone around that yield sign, and I came to the first part where I could lose a lot of time, which was a stop sign right across from a high school. And that was a time of late lunch. So, that already could have killed me there and been impossible for me to make it. But not only that, nobody was there long enough for me to just make my right. And it was 3 blocks to the first local light. And it's impossible to drive the 3 blocks to the first local light. These lights that are for the local inner neighborhood, they're shorter. They're done shorter because it's connected to a main road. So I was on the local road, which the light does not last that long. Yet I saw as I turned from that one street onto the street where the school was, I saw the light was green, but it was 3 blocks away. I said, I'm not going to make it. I said, but you know what? I'm going to make it because the Lord's going to take me. I didn't speed. I went, and that light held. I could feel that my foot was being put at just the right speed that was just border to the edge. And I solved the impossible. But, I had a big smile on my face because I was feeling the fun of God guiding me through like I was a kid on a tricycle, and my dad's taking hold of that tricycle, and he's spending the time with me, and he's taking me through. And so I went right through that light. It was impossible because usually there's even people sitting there because, like I said, it's a busy street where a high school is. Right through, and as I went through it, just the end of my car went around into the busy intersection, the light then turned red. So my next obstacle, I was going to come to the main huge intersection that is always about 2 to 3 blocks backed up every time it comes to a stop. If I got stuck there, I wouldn't make it. And I had no watch on because it's like the Lord had me not find my watch so that I wouldn't be bogged down in the intellectual aspect and say, oh my gosh, no. He took that watch from me so I would just act and do. So I saw as I came up close, because this particular huge intersection, it has a mall itself there on the side that gets congested with people coming out, plus businesses on all sides, and then it's a big road that it connects to. It itself, the road I was on was a major road, but it connected to a huge, one of the main roads there over in Miami. And so as I was going, I got an inner knowing to just move to the lane, just move over a little bit to the lane and keep going, because he was going to do the impossible. Because what was going to happen is everybody where I was at, they were going to not make it, and then would have to do that long wait. But I understood, just trusting God, and just go in this lane and keep my foot at a certain place, and I was going to make it. Not only was I going to get through, but I was going to get through legally. I was going to get through legally, no speeding. And that's exactly what happened. If I had been in the lane next to me, I would have been blocked off by 2 or 3 people. All I needed was to be blocked off for 2 seconds, and I would have failed. And so I saw, unbelievably to myself, this whole area was opened up, and I got into the end of the pack that had been sitting there before, and I got that if I stay in the shadow of the last car, which I had to go 3 blocks to get up to that person, I was going to make it. And that's exactly what happened. I made it, and I had to make an immediate right after that. And the cars usually that turn over there, there weren't any cars there yet, but as I passed them, then the cars came up. So then I had no idea, but so far, 2 lights that are impossible to not get stuck at were open for me, and I went through them. And so there was just 1 light left to go. And when I finally got to that light, because I had 4 more stop signs to go to. And mind you, when I was in my bedroom, my appointment was in 10 minutes. So I had, I found then I was at that final light, and I saw them all. And this light, I had actually had to wait. And this light could be a long light, take 3 or 4 minutes itself, because it itself is also connecting to a big road from a local road. But I had come in the half of the light, and I was the first person in the position, because if I was behind anyone else, I'd be at the mercy of the person I was behind. But I still had to cross this 6-lane road and then turn into a busy mall and go through 3 more stop signs in that busy mall in the middle of the early afternoon in Miami, and it was packed. And try to find a place, park, and these were narrow spaces, get out of my car and walk whatever distance. And usually there was about 100-foot walk, and minimally, to any of the shops there. Well, I as I said, I was having a great time. I just had this huge smile, because it's so much fun, and it is so cool when God is opening everything for you. All you have to do is obey the impulses you are being given. See, this is a move of the Spirit. These impulses, they're move of the Spirit. All you have to do is be obedient to the move of the Spirit. That's all you have to do. and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, whatever that ride is, whether it's an actual car ride or any other kind of ride where God is opening things and taking you where he wants you to be. Because apparently he wanted me to go yesterday to get the test done, and not next Friday. So actually it's better for me if I could get it done, so be behind me, because I have a lot of other things I want to do. So this was something I had really wanted, but I didn't see how I could do it, because even though I'm in the faith, I'm a human being, and all the time I'm like Peter. I might see the Lord out there in the ocean and get enthusiastic to go out there, but I will get overcome by the waves. I still get overcome by the waves, because I'm in the flesh. Just like everybody else, I'm in the flesh, and it gets overwhelming. See how God had me not have my watch, which usually is so easy for me to find, but he took that watch from me so I would not be in the flesh, and I couldn't be getting overwhelmed by the small amount of time I could see. So he took that away to help me to do that. So there was no spaces close to the front. So that means I already had, even to walk, I had to walk a little bit farther, and these parking spaces are super narrow. So I had to also then finagle myself out of the car, and then walk over to the lab where they do the blood tests. And then when I opened up and I went in, mind you, when I left my house, they were going to close in 30 minutes, and it's a Friday, and they want out of there. I saw it was packed. Every chair was taken. Every chair was taken. We're talking 4 rows. And on top of it, I had to go to a kiosk and actually sign in and go through their little questionnaire, even though I had an appointment. And then I had to wait if anyone else was at the kiosk. And there was 2 people there. And if you take too long, even normally, 5 minutes, they don't want to see you. And this is unusual. They were so packed. So I said, well, I don't know what's going to happen, because the way that they will handle it is if you come, they're even more stringent if they're about to close and you come any late. They'll tell you, come back. So anyways, all the same, this one kiosk, I thought it was broken, because the 2 people, one was standing in line behind the other to use the other kiosk by the window. And something just told me, just use it. It worked perfectly fine. I was able to sign right in. And when I had come in, people made upset, unhappy sounds, because every person who could come before them, because what I found out when I had signed in, I saw that mine was the only name getting recognized as being an appointment. Mine was the only name. So that means I was ahead of all those people who were sitting there. There had to be at least 12 or 14 people. The place was going to close at minimally 20 minutes. And I was the only one with an appointment. That meant even though I came in just before the 10 minutes, and when I was signed in to the one kiosk that people were acting like something was wrong with it, the system immediately recognized me. And when it does it, when you sign in and you have an appointment, it will put your name up on the TV, and it'll have you as the only person. And then the next shot, I saw a whole long list of 12 people who were the ones who were standby. Everyone in that room had come in without an appointment, and they had been waiting for hours, and it was about to close. And what happens if you don't have an appointment and they don't have the time, they'll just tell you to leave. And I remember one terrible time when there was some lady who had stayed. She'd come in at 7 in the morning. She had been there for hours, and they had been so busy. She wasted her entire day, and they did not see her. So here I was. Look what God did. He opened all those lights, the big major lights. I didn't have to stop at anything, so that I made record time without having to stop at the two lights that would have killed me, in front of the high school, in front of a huge intersection. And I just soared right through legally. And then I had so many different lights and stops to go, and that I got there so fast that I even could wait 2 minutes at the last light, and there was only one space, even though it was about 100 yards. That was the only space there. If I had come there 30 seconds later, someone else would have snatched it, because when I went in there, someone frustratingly came before I could get out of my car, having seen the space, and while I had gotten the space. Every space was taken, because usually there's 1 or 2 spaces, not on a Friday, which you can find one or two, but every space in a walkable area was taken to that particular lab. And I know now why, because I went in there. It's the most crowded I've ever seen at that time. So I wanted to share this little example of how the Lord, and when we are His in these difficult times, when there's going to be all kinds of impossibles, and the impossibles are happening now. We can't do it by ourselves. We won't be able to do it. It's impossible. But we have an impossible God. And all we have to do is be obedient to His moves within us. We have to learn to recognize when He's making a move within us, and immediately leap to it. Because as you do this, the more you do these things, the more you recognize His moves within you. And it's like He's right there with you. And you're going to see how, I shared this in another video, how it's a relationship. Well, we have a relationship with the Creator of all things, who nothing is impossible to do, whom we can do all things through. So even though things are going to get worse and times of persecution increase, He is going to take us where He wants us to be. We just have to remain within His shelter, within the shelter of the Most High. See, if we abide within Him, and we abide by living within Christ, being obedient to Christ, to His mind, He is going to get us wherever we need to be. And it's going to be sometimes wonderful, because when the Lord does these things now, I just can have a wonderful time, a fun time, because it's so amazing to see Him control everything. It's like I'm being ushered through, and it's amazing. Nobody else is getting ushered through. Everything is just opening and closing for me. The people before and after, they're not getting through. And this is how it works. This is how salvation works. That the people before and after, those who are in Christ, they're not going to get through. It's only those who are in Christ who are the ones who are going to get through. And it's not by our might and power. It's totally by Him and His power. But I had to share this little thing to help to build up the faith and to help to refresh the basic principles, really, which all the principle involved is abiding within Him and getting to recognize and know the move of the Spirit within us that He puts within us to lead us through to the destination He wants us to be at.